Here is your Atlanta real estate market update for July 2024. Jumping right in, let's talk about the average days on market for a home so we can see how much demand there has been for homes in Metro Atlanta. In March, the average days on market for a listing was 15 days. In April, it was 11 days, and then in May, 12 days, and in June, 12 days. So definitely there are more buyers on the market now than there was in like the winter time and the beginning of spring. And this is all very natural. Typically we see that more people are trying to buy a home during this time as there is like the break for school and people are trying to get ready for the new school year. So this tends to be the busy time of year for buyers. Now, while there is 12 average days on market, and that's less than the winter time, keep in mind that the average days on market 2 years ago when interest rates were like 3% was like 6 days or even 5 days on market. So this was a very different time. Today we have far less buyer demand than back then when interest rates were 3%. Now that interest rates have increased, we're still seeing far less buyer demand than there was 2 years ago. Obviously, everybody knows we don't have those 3% interest rates anymore. In March of this year, the interest rate was right at about 6.9%. And then in April, we saw interest rates go up a little bit to about 7%. In May, we saw a big increase in interest rates to about 7.2, 7.3%. But then in June, interest rates came down a little bit to 7 to 7.1%. And this interest rate of like low sevens, high sixes is what I believe we're going to see for mortgage interest rates for the foreseeable future. Next, let's talk about the average sold price for homes in Metro Atlanta. If you're thinking about buying a home in Metro Atlanta, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. But we've definitely seen home prices increasing. In March, the average sold price in Metro Atlanta was $420,000. In April, it was $425,000. In May, it jumped up quite a bit to $441,000. And in June, the average sold price for a home in Metro Atlanta was $458,000. So we're still seeing this increase in home prices all throughout Metro Atlanta. And while it is kind of normal for this time of year, it is surprising considering how much less buyer demand there is. Something else to take a look at is the amount of new homes for sale in Metro Atlanta. In March, there were 4,700 new homes for sale. In April, there was 5,300 new homes for sale. In May, it jumped up to 5,600 new homes for sale. And then in June, came down a little bit to 5,400 new homes for sale in Metro Atlanta. So we're seeing more people put their home on the market. Again, as we're getting ready for the school year and people are wanting to make that move, more and more homes are coming on the market, still at a bit of a shortage for homes for sale, as many people don't want to get rid of their 3% interest rate, which is totally understandable. I myself don't want to get rid of my 3% interest rate, but we are seeing a lot of new construction. Fortunately, there are a lot of home developers who are finally getting back into the market. And so we're seeing a lot of new homes for sale. Areas like North Metro Atlanta, especially the northern suburbs like Canton, Ackworth, Cumming is a very big one for new construction. These kinds of suburbs that are far out from Atlanta where it's easy to build, low cost to build, and there's still some buyer demand. That's really where we're seeing a lot of new construction homes for sale. In fact, we're seeing more homes coming on the market than we are seeing homes being sold. In March, there was 2,800 homes sold in Metro Atlanta. In April, there was 3,000 homes sold. In May, we had 3,500 homes sold. And then in June, again, a bit of a dip down to 2,900 homes sold. So we're seeing far more homes coming on the market than we are seeing homes sold. So we're still seeing this like really interesting thing that's happening in a lot of different suburbs where there are the move-in ready homes that are picture perfect and ready to go, and all of the buyers are jumping on those homes. Those homes go off the market in a matter of 3-4 days. And then there's all of the other homes that are maybe not necessarily necessarily move-in ready, or the pictures aren't very good on the listing, or maybe there's just some minor issue with the home. And because there are far less buyers, that whole other subset of homes is lasting a very long time on the market. 30, 60, 90 days on the market sometimes. And there might not necessarily be anything wrong with those homes. It's just that all of the buyers are going for the perfect move-in ready homes. And because we're seeing more homes coming on the market than we are seeing homes being sold, we still have a lot of these homes that have been on the market for a long time where you can get a deal. You don't have to offer list price. You can offer well below list price. You can ask for repairs because the home has been on the market for 90 days. There's definitely a lot of opportunity for buyers to get a good deal on homes when the home has been on the market for a very long time. And then keep in mind that these numbers are for all of Metro Atlanta. It definitely differs in different parts of Metro Atlanta. For example, on the south side of Metro Atlanta, we're seeing days on market much longer. Average is probably closer to 3 or 4 weeks on the south side of Metro Atlanta. On the north side, it's closer to about 1 to 2 weeks. Again, these move-in ready homes go off the market very quickly. And then in general, the closer you are to the city of Atlanta, the more buyer demand there is. The city where the school ratings are very good, 9 and 10 out of 10, those cities also have more buyer demand. And so those are the kinds of areas where it can be difficult to get a deal. But the cities that are far out from Atlanta and maybe the schools are a 7 or an 8 out of 10, those are the areas where you can get a really good deal on a home. But by far the most interesting number of all that I find very surprising is just how the home prices are increasing despite the buyer demand decreasing. So to really get a good idea of what's happening here, we have to go super deep with the numbers. So bear with me here while I explain some of these numbers here. So one of the biggest things and the most surprising things is that the amount of new homes for sale today is about the same as 2022, when we were like, oh, the real estate market is super active and everybody's buying a home. In the first 6 months of 2024, there was 29,000 homes for sale. And in the first 6 months of 2022, there was still about 29,000 homes for sale. So about the same. The thing is that buyer demand is far less today than it was in 2022 because of the interest rates. So today we're seeing an average days on market of 12, 13, 14 days. In 2022, it was like 5 or 6 days. So we're seeing half as much demand, half as many buyers today, but home prices are still increasing. And this is the thing that is the most surprising thing. Some people would say this is leading to a problem. Some people would say this is because there's still more buyers than there are sellers. And so this is really something that we need to keep an eye on and see how this affects the housing market. Typically, when you see less buyer demand, home prices come down. So to see that home prices are still increasing is super interesting and definitely something that we'll talk about some more in some upcoming videos. If you're new to the channel, keep in mind that we put out videos every week about the best suburbs of Atlanta. In fact, I made a video about the top 5 suburbs in all of Metro Atlanta. You can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next one.